There we go. So I recently did an unboxing of the Scott Pilgrim versus the World limited run games physical release, the complete edition. It came with a ton of shit. That'll be up on our YouTube channel. That is up on our YouTube channel right now. So if you want to go check that out, do that there. Also up on our YouTube channel tomorrow is our Let's Play of Wind Waker. The last couple episodes of that are airing, and they feature our good friend and fellow streamer Zeldin of the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Zelda and Fairies. So please go check that out. If you missed the stream, we had a ton of fun. We're already trying to plan, things that we're going to do together with her. Also, tomorrow, probably sometime later than 12 when that Wind Waker thing goes up, we have our second ever Patreon post.
Yeah.
So we did a special episode of Cinematic Relief. We watched the Super Mario Brothers movie. So if you want to hear our review of that and our discussion about why video game movies and Sonic the Hedgehog and the Chris Pratt Mario movie and all that, go check that out. That's on our Patreon. And if
that
you're
was
thinking,
a really good episode.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It was fun too. The movie not so much. But and if you're thinking, well, that's not worth it, there's another podcast. It's a narrative podcast. It's our loosely based off D&D narrative podcast called Tales and Elixir. That's going to come out every 3 months. But episode 1 of that,
somewhere, something like that.
first episode of that is already up, and tomorrow there will be an episode of Cinematic Relief.
Yeah.
And then one last thing, one small thing. My dad and I last Sunday, because Chris couldn't make it to stream, we streamed Elden Ring, and I normally wouldn't promote this, but we had a lot of fun. And we did the Volcano Manor, and it perfectly fit within a stream, and it ended with this huge epic boss fight. It was really cool. So the VOD of that will be live for I think 4 or 5 more days. So go check that out. If you already haven't, I would really appreciate it.
Cool.
But today,
we're
talking about
Turning Red.
So both of these movies we're about to watch, I didn't know anything about them.
I knew even less about these movies than I thought I did.
Yeah. So this is the first time in a while that you and I were like, let's just watch these because we have to make episodes.
Yeah.
And I liked them both. I think I saw one trailer of the Adam Project a few months ago, and I was like, neat. I knew way less about Turning Red. I knew absolutely nothing about it. I knew that this girl was going to turn into a red panda, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I knew.
That I didn't even know that. I just knew that there was a red panda in the film.
Yeah.
So one thing, I watched both of these movies up New Hampshire with Pauline.
Did you like me watch them in the same sitting?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No,
cool.
It was 1 day apart. We watched one night, one the other night.
I literally was going to watch them literally back to back, but as I was explaining to you off stream, I had some trouble finding a device that could play Netflix.
Right.
But I did watch them one after another because they're both pretty short. They were both an hour and 45 minutes long.
Yeah. But driving up New Hampshire, I was telling Pauline, I forget how we got into this conversation, but I was like, oh, well, I didn't watch it in Encanto.
Me either.
Yeah, and I didn't watch it because I'm sick of Disney/Pixar feeding me the same bullshit.
Okay.
What I mean by that is I saw Coco.
Yeah.
I saw Luca.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see Encanto, and they fooled me with Turning Red.
Okay. May I one thing, all those things you mentioned are Disney Pixar except Encanto is just
fine.
Disney.
That's fine. And I'll even throw Rava or Rav or
Raya. Raya the Last Dragon.
Yes, I'll even throw Raya in
that
there.
I also didn't see.
Here's what I feel like.
Yeah.
And I wrote it out.
Yeah, I still sort of don't know what you mean by tricking you into the same thing over and over again.
I don't want to watch an ethnic-specific family go through a magical problem again.
Okay.
I've seen that movie. Thank
Yeah.
you, Disney. I've seen that movie.
I see what you're saying.
And I didn't realize that with Turning Red when you and I had agreed to it. I just knew that there was a panda in it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, they're back to animals, I guess. Because I really, like, Disney and /Pixar have been going through this, and I didn't piece it together till this film, but, like, in the 80s and 90s, it was, let's just make animals, right? Have complex emotion.
Right.
Good. We made it through
Lion
a decade
King.
with that. What was that?
Lion
King.
Technically Little Mermaid, if you want to go there.
Yeah, Lion King, Little Mermaid, the Aristocats.
Yes.
101 Dalmatians. It was just all up in there.
They talk in that, right? But not in the live action one.
Right. Which I wasn't even considering.
Right.
But
No, I always confuse those.
So that was the 90s. Then they were like, okay, people are getting sick of it. Not Ants. Well, Ants did come out, but A Bug's Life came out.
Yeah.
And I think at that point they were like, okay, all right, we lay that one to rest. You know what they did fucking like though?
Yeah. People
inanimate objects having feelings.
Okay.
Those toys. Remember that Toys movie?
Yeah.
Let's keep pumping those out.
Yeah. They were all good though.
What else is an inanimate object? A car.
Oh, do you want to know what else is an inanimate object?
A plane?
People's emotions. Because that one was about people's emotions. What if they had feelings?
And then that was the last drop off. They were like, okay, no, and then I was gonna. That one was coming up.
I haven't seen that one either. It seems
that was
pretty
cute.
bad.
I liked it.
Oh,
I did watch it. I liked it. I understand if you don't want to though, because it's like you had enough. You had enough. Disney, Pixar. I've had enough. Thank you. Thank you. I don't want any more.
That one, and I haven't seen it, so maybe it's fucking great. But that one pissed me off just because it was like
feelings having feelings.
That was the last straw for me, where I was like, where they were like, what if people had 5 emotions and that's
it? And that is all of them.
What if we made Super Princess Peach but a movie and it takes place inside Princess Peach's head?
Well, that's my point. And then you dropped off, and I feel like they're very good at picking out when people have had enough. But then
Moana happens, and I came back. I was full in when
Moana was
happened.
Great. But I didn't even count Moana in that group.
It technically counts.
Yeah, it absolutely counts. Well, that's the thing is so Inside Out comes out, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, what is something else we could give emotions? And then somebody said, there's a shit ton of people, right?
Yeah.
And they all have different quirks and things about them. They got a lot of shit going on. What if we picked one, got super into it for a movie, and then you had Moana, which was a great film. I'm not saying that I'm not saying they're not creative. I'm not saying they're bad movies. I'm just saying Disney likes to go on these tangents. They go down a rabbit hole, and at the point of Encanto, I said that's enough. I said that's enough for me.
I'm definitely going to watch Encanto only if for nothing else, because the person who did the music for Moana, the guy who made Hamilton, also did the music for Encanto.
Yeah, and I saw another movie, same idea of Cuba, wasn't Disney or Pixar. Though.
Cuba and the 9 strings or whatever it is?
No, well, that's Cuba. I forget what that one is. No, this one's about a little dancing monkey, and it's not Disney or Pixar. I watched it with Pauline. Again, cute, but same concept.
Oh, that's Kubo that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I think in the 2 strings.
The 2 strings.
I think it is.
Okay, I've never seen it, but that's a Leica film, right? The people who made Paranorman and Coraline. I believe.
That sounds right.
I don't know what monkey thing you're talking about.
Pauline would know what I'm talking about.
But I'm sure it's great.
It was cute, yeah, but it's just we're at that point and it's great. I'm glad cultures are getting their time in the spotlight.
Oh yeah.
They need to be a little more creative with it though.
No, I feel that.
Every single one of those movies is about an ethnic specific family running into a magical issue. Enough.
Yeah.
Brave. Enough. They just keep coming.
Yeah. Brave. I didn't see Brave either. Brave was her mom turns into a bear, right?
Frozen. Yes.
Frozen. See,
Nordic.
I feel like
Nordic
tones. I know. It definitely takes place in Iceland or whatever. I feel like Frozen. No, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I'll give you that. Frozen deviates from the concept.
Here's why I think Frozen as a concept has more legs than insert ethnic family has magical problem here. It's because it was so good it got a sequel. I feel like the sequel really I was like, whoa, haven't seen a Pixar sequel in forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, it's true. And again,
because the only Pixar sequels we've had over the last decade are 2 sequels to 2 of their incredible series that we've all known for a while, Incredibles and Toy Story.
Right.
And then we got Frozen 2, which that movie came out, like a normal sequel time frame would.
Right. And again, I know I'm making a bit of a confusing argument here, and I don't want to discredit any of these films. I don't want to say they're bad, and I don't want to say it's not good to have ethnicities in the spotlight.
Yeah, that's not what you're saying.
That's not the points at all. I'm just saying, my one point is let's be a little more creative in the process.
So, is all that to say that you did not like Turning Red?
That's why it's a bit confusing. I thought it was really cute. I thought it was a fun movie. Had I known that this is about a Chinese girl who turns into a red panda, probably wouldn't have watched it. I probably would have shelved it with Encanto and said, Disney, give me something else.
Right. Because you and I, we had a very brief conversation about what movies we should watch.
Yeah.
You were basically on your way out, so was I, and we were like, how about these? And you were like, not Encanto. I was like, what about that other one? And it was like, okay, cool, yeah, I didn't break.
Yeah. And sorry if my answer was confusing. I knew nothing about Turning Red. I really thought if you had asked me right then, well, do you know anything about it? I would have said, oh, it's a movie about that little cute panda. All this to get back to my story. I'm so sorry I went off on that tangent.
No,
we're
fine.
riding up New Hampshire, and she said, well, why don't you want to watch Encanto? And I gave her this laundry list of reasons. She's just sitting there like, oh, I don't think you're going to be too happy with this movie. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, oh, a little girl, specifically Chinese, turns into a red panda. And I was like, well, I already said yeah, so let's watch it. We watched it. She was super into it. She drew a lot of similarities to like just like the aunties and stuff. And,
Yeah.
she thought it was cute. Oh, she's here.
Oh, hello. I'm biased because of Asian representation. I mean, that's a perfectly...
I wasn't going to say it.
That is a perfectly... No, you weren't. But that's a perfectly valid reason to be biased.
But
so
I'm glad you have that representation, though.
Oh, yeah, no, me too, for sure. This year, 3 years, has been outstanding in cinema for Asian representation. One of my favorite movies of all time.
I know.
Came out last year.
That's crazy.
And is one of those.
But just to get back to the story, I thought it was really cute. All that aside, I did like it. Thought it was well done. The effects, I think we're gonna have a whole section
oh my
about
God,
that.
Yeah, let's not even get into it yet.
Yeah, let's not even get into that yet.
So I didn't know anything about this movie, and for whatever reason, maybe I was having a bad day. Who knows? I was just like, I'm not gonna like this.
Yeah.
And I ended up really liking it, like a lot.
In the first 5 seconds of our introduction to the main character, I thought I was gonna get annoyed with her very quickly.
Me too. Well, I just saw her dumb face on the poster, and I was like, I don't know. Maybe this is... I was anticipating coming out the other end being like, maybe this is the one that makes me realize that Pixar movies are for children, and I'm almost 30. But this, I really liked it. And
her voice is what got me at first. I was like,
see,
I don't know if I can do this voice for 2 hours.
I
but
liked her voice,
really?
and I looked up the voice actress. This is basically the only thing she's ever done, which was cool to me.
That is cool. Now if they can make a
Filipino movie. Oh, I know. We just got to pinpoint right on...
They're getting closer.
Yeah.
They're narrowing in. You're part Chinese. Anyways. I'll just call her out right on stream.
No, so I really enjoyed this film. I gotta say, and this is not a bad thing, this is just something I noticed and wanted to talk about. I've never seen a movie more, like, directly more, what am I trying to say? Like, so obviously be about a thing, but also about another thing.
Oh, I know.
But this movie happened that the thing that it was about on surface value and the thing that it was about on not surface value was
both
the
got
exact
mentioned.
same thing. Well, it was the exact same thing. It's becoming a woman.
Yeah.
It's turning from a child into a woman,
Yeah.
and that's what the allegory of the movie was about, and that's what the movie was about.
A lot of people are talking about how upfront and open they were about the period innuendos, and I mean,
it wasn't even innuendo. They literally had like pads on the screen and like
referred
referred to them by name.
If you were a young kid, because they never say it
exactly.
directly, it'd go over your head. But I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, oh, this is obvious. But that's why I meant by innuendos. But no, you're right. They were very clear, very open about it. And
it was because I watch Luca, right?
Yeah.
And Luca was, I'm a quarter Chinese, but that's not my whole bloodline.
No, I know. I'm just throwing it out there. Narrowing down.
I watched Luca, and Luca is a movie about a kid turning into a fish, and he meets another kid who can turn into a fish. He's like, "You're like me." But as I watched that, I'm like, "Oh, this is very clearly to me an allegory for coming out of the closet." These characters are not gay by any means, but this movie is making me feel the way that I'm sure a lot of LGBT people feel when they realize they're not straight, and that they must now come to terms with the fact that they need to come in the closet or stay in it for some reason. And I got that, like, at the very end. I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. This movie, like, as soon as she turns into a panda, like, they start talking about periods.
Yeah.
She's talking the whole time about this band that's gonna, like, when she sees them, turn her into a woman. And I'm just like, I'm just like, wow, this movie's about this, and it's also about this, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing.
Not at all.
I didn't like it any less because of that. I was just like, wow, very heavy-handed allegory.
Yeah.
So heavy-handed, in fact, that it's not even really an allegory anymore.
I just going off of that.
Yeah.
Just the whole like. I actually, there was a meme. I'm trying to explain something. There's a meme, the Drake meme, the one where he's like, and then he's like, and the first one is classic Disney villains, and then he's like, no, and then the second one is what was it, like real life trauma or something like that, and he's like,
yeah.
And it's true. That was kind of the coolest part about this movie is there is kind of no villain. It was just, it was life, and kind of how do you deal with it.
It's the fact that it, like, it's hard to say, like, who is the villain of that? And you're like, well, is kind of true to, like, it's like the whole point of the movie. It's like, well, I guess the mom is the villain, but do I really want to call my mom the villain? Like, she's just being a mom. I feel like that's the whole point, where you're done watching the film and you're like, I mean, the mom turned into a kaiju, but, like, was she the villain?
And if she was the villain, then what's the grandmother?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because the villain in this movie has a villain.
Right.
If the mom truly is the villain, then the mom's mom is the mom's villain
right.
of her movie that happened 20 years ago.
Right.
No, I liked it a lot. It also, okay, so the movie, I didn't know this. I really appreciated this. I did not know this. I did not expect this. This is a period piece. It takes place in 2002.
Yes, I was just going to talk about that. I have a theory, and I feel like it's the only explanation, because this movie had no reason to take place in 2002.
Except
I'm going to guess it's the writers.
Yes, of course, yeah. I think it's the director, writer, whoever, whose decision that was.
And they were heavy-handed on that, too.
Oh, yeah, they were literally like, here's my Tamagotchi I love in sync.
That and the calendar 2002.
Did you notice
everything was 2002?
Did you notice that? I'm very proud of myself that I noticed this. Everyone I've talked to hasn't noticed this yet. When she first arrives at the house, there are two statues of red pandas, and she gives them cute little names.
Yes, it was Bart and
it's
Lisa.
Bart
it was the
and
Simpsons.
Lisa.
Yes, Pauline actually pointed that out first.
Hello,
hey
welcome
Toga,
on in.
thank you
We're
for
talking
joining.
about Turning Red, which was a fantastic movie.
Yeah,
so what
really
I was
fun.
going to say, in addition to the whole 2002 thing, this movie is very clear with what it's taking inspiration from, especially in the third act. Obviously, some Godzilla vibes.
Yeah.
There's that fucking scene straight out of JoJo Part 3 where all the aunts, like, put their foot forward, and you have the, like, Power Rangers transformation scene at the end when all the aunts rip their beads off and all turn into pandas.
Can we actually talk about for a second the fact that for probably the first time ever, Pixar incorporated some, like, actual anime eyes and shit into their film?
Yeah, no, this was clearly inspired by anime in its visual stylings. I'd say throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Also, holy shit, during the third act when she's like form change jumping on rooftops, and like the final battle is like, you got to keep her in the circle how has this not been turned into a video game?
Oh, I know.
That
right?
looked so fun.
What if Turning Red was the first video game to bring film tie-in video games back into the spotlight?
Dude,
I would be so happy.
I would be okay with that because it really came to a head around the era of SpongeBob and Shrek.
Oh yeah.
And now they just aren't a thing anymore. Now the best we get are those Lego games, which are fantastic, but we haven't gotten one in a while because they're.
Oh, cough, cough, Sailor Moon reference.
Oh yes.
That would make more sense, especially with the whole female aspect of the movie.
Also, and so you said you just started watching Adventure Time, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I know you haven't seen Steven Universe. I also haven't seen Steven Universe, but I think I know more about it than you at this point. The 4 main characters gave me really big main characters of
I could
Steven
see that.
Universe
Sure,
vibes.
especially the purple girl.
Yes,
Yeah.
she's Steven. The purple girl is Amethyst, which is hilarious because Amethyst is purple, and then the curly-haired girl who like the like emotionless one.
Yeah.
That's Garnet, and then the redhead is Pearl. They're not 1-to-1, but I was very much like,
sure.
oh, this is like that group as kids.
It's funny. I've been seeing that this movie blew up like this week. Everybody's talking about it.
I'm glad it did.
Yeah.
Because Pixar has been like, I don't know why. I don't know what made them do this, but like Pixar was like, oh, it's a Pixar film. Just put it on Disney Plus, and we're not going to put it behind a premium wall.
Right.
That's what happened with Soul. I almost didn't watch it.
Soul was amazing.
Soul was amazing, yeah. And we did a podcast on it, but I wasn't going to watch.
I could also, that's another check
Oh,
mark.
yeah.
I'm going to put that as another
sure.
check mark in the category I was discussing.
Definitely more, because you specifically used the word magical. Definitely more supernatural
Yeah,
than magical.
yeah, I'll give you
but
that, for
it's
sure.
Same fucking.
Out of the box, though. See, if more of them were like Soul, I wouldn't. I probably would be more apt to watch him because Soul was very. Soul and Frozen, for what we could sit here and dissect why,
right?
But for whatever reason, there just feels like there's a bit more put into the story.
No,
the plot.
Soul, and maybe it's because it's about an adult, but Soul, while I was watching it, felt like a movie for adults.
Oh,
it felt like a very mature movie.
Yeah.
But I almost didn't watch it because I was like, not that I was like against it. You were just like, do you want to watch Soul for the podcast? And I was like, that movie's out? Where can I watch it? What are you talking about? Because I didn't realize that like Pixar was just like, throw it on Disney Plus. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Get rid of it.
Does that mean Lightyear's going to do that too? Or am I going to
That would be awesome.
Am I going to have to walk to a movie theater to see Lightyear? Because I'd very much like to watch Lightyear.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck. And I would like to know what the fuck.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Is Tim Allen in the movie at all? I'm going to guess no, because he's
Probably.
the voice of the toy, and I'm led to believe that this movie is not about a toy.
Right. I guess that means canonically. You know what would be crazy? What if Tim Allen, the person, was in this movie? Not like real life, but like, their 3D animation, and he just voices the toy.
Oh,
wouldn't that be nuts?
You think if this movie goes far enough in this character's storyline, we're gonna get to like, who's gonna voice me on the TV show you're making?
Right.
I see. I would be down for that. What I would also be down for is Buzz Lightyear Rescue Rangers, the TV show, completely redubbed by Chris Evans. That would be cool.
Okay.
Because as we all know, it wasn't Tim Allen on the TV show; it was Patrick Warburton, voice of Joe from Family Guy.
Yes.
And if you want to talk about things that were overused in the 90s and 2000s, it's Patrick Warburton.
Yeah, but
he's
did a good
fucking
job.
everywhere. No, he did a good job, but he also, I don't know. I was just, it like, I don't know exactly what movie it was, but there was eventually one movie where I was just like, again, really? Okay, here we go.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was thinking watching Turning Red, it would be so much better if the main character was voiced by him.
If May May was voiced by Patrick Warburton.
Yeah.
That no, Danny DeVito.
Oh no.
Just have Danny DeVito do everything.
Why not, right? Like why not make like whatever is legal to post on YouTube clips of you just dubbing like if you're Danny DeVito and it's like COVID and like you don't want to go out and work.
You're saying Danny DeVito on his own personal
just dub
YouTube
over
channel.
and just post it on YouTube, right? Why not? People would go nuts for that.
I would
watch it, of course. Who wouldn't watch it? But back to the movie. Let's talk about visuals.
Holy motherfucking shit. So they've definitely gone the Mario Odyssey route, but like to the absolute Pixar extreme.
Oh, yeah.
Where if you hyper focus on like the nose or the eyes, you're like, that's a Pixar character. If you look anywhere else, you're like, oh, this is a photograph of real life because CGI is just real life now. The fucking stitching on the clothes, the hair.
I was paying attention to the hair on the panda because that you can't hide.
Oh, I know.
You know,
no, it's a big furry. It's the reason. It's the reason Monsters Inc. took so fucking long to come out because they couldn't get the goddamn fur on Sully to look the way they wanted. You know, it's also why Shrek took so long to come out because they couldn't get the fur on Donkey looking the way they wanted to.
Right.
And it was I don't know the production budget or length of this movie, but like that looked incredible. That looked so good.
Oh yeah.
It was just I don't know.
Everything looked good. You know, another thing I wanted to mention, also kind of an anime shout out relating to the visuals, but they took so much time and care to make the food like sexual. Like just really
dude,
like
have you
like,
noticed
and like
I know we both didn't see in Kanto or Encanto. I don't know exactly which one.
I hope it's in Kanto so I don't have to say the other version of it.
But like I've noticed that Pixar's been doing that in this movie and in Luca. They've had like the food is like they it's like Ghibli food. Like they figured out how to make food good in CGI in Pixar CGI, and they're like, well, we gotta have a food porn.
Oh, exactly.
Shot.
It's a huge anime shout out.
Yeah,
and they specifically had like the classic anime food montage.
Yeah.
And it was cool. I was like, oh man, between that and the eyes and just like the little subtle like anime visual, nods, I was like, they're really trying, and that's cool. That's really cool that the visual department is like, what are we making, a Asian inspired movie? Well, why don't we take some of that into the visual aspects?
Yeah, regardless of whose decision it was a fantastic one because it really made for I'm going to say it. I think it made for a better movie. I think if this movie wasn't clearly heavily inspired visually by anime, I wouldn't be sitting here being like, but what if it was inspired by anime? Like, I wouldn't have cared. But the fact that it was, I was just like, most of the time watching it, I was just like, this looks so fucking rad. And I love looking at it. This movie, that's my one takeaway from this movie. I mean, not, my biggest takeaway from this movie is that it looks so good.
Yeah.
I am excited by how good this movie looks. I'm excited for whatever's next and how good that's going to look. And I absolutely love, it's like that scene, sorry I always reference it, but it's like the scene from Into the Spider-Verse. There's one character who's supposed to be like a manga anime character, right? Yeah. And every time she does anything, it's not much, but every time she does anything in that film, it's like, oh, we're just in an anime now. And that's how this like whole movie felt. That one scene where Penny Parker jumps off the thing and like runs through the air is like, hello, it's me.
Yeah.
I felt like the Turning Red took place in that
universe.
In that scene.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that this whole movie took place in that scene, and that's kind of like what elevated it for me to a like, yeah, it was good, to a wow, it was really good. I liked it a lot.
You mentioned the aunties doing JoJo poses earlier. There's definitely, I even showed you that scene comparing it to like the Mario character.
Oh yeah,
that is straight up JoJo poses.
Oh yeah, for sure. But you know the scene I'm talking about, right?
Yes, yeah,
from Stardust Crusaders.
Yeah,
when they finally get redhead idiot and they like boom boom all their feet. Yeah.
They're like yes, I know what scene you're talking about. But oh man, there it goes.
Also, as soon as the mom, I found out that the mom. Sorry, as soon as it seemed like the mom was probably going to turn into a panda on screen, I was like, now we're going to get to see her with red hair.
Oh, I know, right?
And then all the aunties took their beads off, and I was like, oh god.
I also had a moment of that too, where I didn't even think about it the whole film until it happened. But I feel like that's something I would have thought about. Like, I wonder what the mom would have looked like with red hair.
Yeah.
And then it happened. And it happened with all of them. I sound like Christopher Walken there for a second. But I had a question, and I'm not gonna lie. I was in the shower this morning thinking about this question.
Okay.
How do they know what size the panda is gonna be? like, if your child's like 13, assuming you're the mom, right?
Yeah.
And you know that you're a kaiju-sized panda.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If she turned into a panda the first time in her room,
yeah.
they'd all be dead if she was the size of her mom.
She was, yeah. You'd think they'd be more. That's a good point. You'd think they'd be more cautious because, as far as I can tell, because it's this one family, the only one who's ever been that huge is this woman.
Yeah.
And this is her offspring.
Right,
so
right.
you'd
no,
think,
exactly.
like, there's a chance. We're not all this big, but...
Well, that was my thought. And also, I was thinking about that at the beginning of the movie, too, because they were talking about how they got this special power to defend the castle and stuff. I was like, they're like 7 feet tall. I mean, yeah, that's probably tougher than a human, but, like...
Right.
You know.
Because when you finally see, I forget her name, but the woman who started the curse.
Yeah.
When you finally see hers was pretty huge, right?
Oh, I think most of them used to be. I think it's like taming, kind of. Like, her mom's the outlier, but it used to not be that way.
Right. Because they've learned how to...
Yeah, how to hold it in and stuff. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Because it used to, as they said, it used to be a blessing, and now it's a curse because they don't need this anymore.
Right.
So, like, if the first couple were huge, then, like, yeah, it sounds like you needed them to be.
Right.
But now that we're literally in the 20th century, and, or I guess technically the 21st century, and these people are trying to live normal lives,
That checks out.
Yeah, that checks out to me.
That's my thought. If I was to fault this movie for one thing, I think it would be how easily everybody accepted the fact that this girl just turns into an animal and nobody cares and everybody's cool with that. But the issue is, I know that they had a story they wanted to tell. You jump down that rabbit hole too far and you end up like E.T., where that's the whole point of the movie,
right? Is
everybody wants to know why this is happening.
Right.
But they were just a little too quick to accept everything, to the point where part of the pushing the plot forward is all the kids just want to take pictures with this giant red panda.
Yeah. No, the mom definitely, she didn't necessarily say this out loud, but she definitely voiced her concern for, like, if the government finds out about this, we're fucked because you turn into a giant animal. Right. That's essentially the vibe that I was getting from the mom. But you know, the fact that the entire school knew, obviously it seemed like it was just the kids. But you'd think I was starting to get like, there's probably going to be one kid who's like tells the wrong person.
Yeah.
You know the scene in School of Rock where he's getting away with it all, and then one person tells their mom, and he's like. They're like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Right.
I was expecting something along the lines of that, but it never happened. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Make sure everything was okay, and everything is.
Oh yeah, everything seems fine over here.
What was I saying? What was I getting at? Why can't I think?
Sorry,
this does not bode well for Adam Project. No, it's not your fault.
It was
going to be something off of what you were saying.
Yeah, it was something. I mean, you started talking about how everyone was too accepting about this person turning into a giant monster.
Yeah. I thought it was a really cool. I did remember what I was going to say.
Sick.
I thought it was a really cool twist. Like, I'm watching this movie. I know nothing about this movie.
Right.
This girl turns into a huge red panda. And I'm sitting there, and I was kind of like, eye roll. She's going to try to keep it from her parents the whole time. And the parents are fucking in on it. I thought that was a cool twist.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
When they were like, there's a moment where you're like, the parents are like, oh, fuck. And then you, the audience member, like, oh, fuck, they know about it.
Yeah,
They're going to be in on it this whole time.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. Because this whole movie is like, from the perspective of the friends, this whole movie is trying to convince this girl to fucking hang out with them and stop being, so loyal to her mother. It's almost like a subversion of the way it. I feel like there's a version of this movie that you really didn't like.
Yeah.
You the person who was like, oh no, it's another one of these, and they're gonna do this and this.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie being made like even 5 years ago, we might get that version, but I feel like there was a lot of subversions of like classic Pixar like you said, like she didn't have to hide it from her parents because that's not what the movie was about.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It was cool. It was a lot of cool stuff. I'm glad I liked it. I don't have a real reason for why I expected I wouldn't like it, but it was pretty much like the whole like couple days in between planning on watching it and watching it up until right after we meet the friends at school. I was like, I don't know. But then
that's kind of where my head was at too.
Yeah, and I really liked the third act. Just everything that happened in the third act. When she starts hopping on rooftops trying to get to the concert, everything from that point on, I was like, this is incredible. This is amazing. This should be a video game. This is an anime that I am watching currently.
An anime with no direct villain either. I still want to talk about that.
Yeah.
They made a Pixar movie with no direct bad guy,
right?
Which is crazy.
Right. Yeah. I feel like back when we were kids, there was a big, at least in merchandise, there was a big push for like, this is a mouse pad with all the villains on it. This is a fucking like set of cups, and each cup is a star sign, but also a Disney villain.
Right.
But you couldn't like. I feel like, and once again, I feel like all these subversions of classic Disney Pixar tropes are intentional, but you couldn't really do that with this one. I guess you'd put her when she's in the big kaiju form, but even then I'd be like, well, why'd you put that's
what
not
you
really
could do if we're the merch department.
Right, we're making this merch I'm talking about.
You could do all the women in their panda form and not panda form. You can do something. You can do a lot with that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think whatever this fake merchandising character comes up with, I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna be like, well, hold on, that's not really. I wouldn't. But then the conversation would go to like, well, Anthony, who would you? And I'm like,
You know, speaking of merch in this movie, funny enough, me and Pauline were at the mall not 2 days ago. They already have not sweaters and shirts of the film or the main characters, but they've already got the like subliminal stuff. There was a sweater that had no logo of the film or anything, and it just said "For Town Forever."
Oh.
And it took me, I had to do a double take because I was like, oh, I know what that is. And then I was like, I know what that is.
Not real. Do they have like the merch they made to sell at school, stuff like that?
I didn't see much more than that. Me and Pauline found other stuff that we were interested in. There's a store called Box Lunch.
Okay.
There's one at the mall, and then there's one in Maine actually that we were at, or maybe it was in New Hampshire. I can't remember, but I think you'd really like it. It's a mix of anime and Disney merch. Did you already find?
No, sorry. I'm happy to announce that there is in fact Turning Red Funko Pops, and they look like this.
Oh.
And it's I've got to show somebody. Look at this shit. Oh my god, it's so cute.
Keep an eye out for that.
There's one of the girl too. I think these are the only two. Just the girl and the girl.
Oh,
in
can I see?
Form. Yeah.
Oh, there's definitely an alt where she has black hair. You know that
Probably.
they have an alt with the hair. That's cool.
It seems like it's just these two. It seems like it's an
they always
oversized.
do a secret rare. Don't they always do a secret rare?
True. No, there is a. Oh, I already found a secret rare. It's the same one except it's actually furry.
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
they like to do that.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well, that happened. Sorry, what were you were talking about? Box lunch.
Oh yeah,
box?
no, Box Lunch. It's just a store. I think you'd be interested in.
Oh, cool.
I think that's a podcast though.
Yes, I do too. Sorry, I was disconnected from chat. So give me.
No, you're
a
good.
moment
You're
to,
cool.
Just go
Oh no,
back
everybody's
there.
shitting
Right,
on
there we
Anthony
are.
in chat.
Oh
no.
Well, I mean, I have it over here. I just like to have it over here too. Please don't shit on me. I liked Turning Red. Yes. I think that's a podcast. Thank you for watching. If you're watching live, obviously don't go anywhere. We're about to talk about the Atom Project. But if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for being here.
Tune in 2 weeks from now where we'll be discussing the Atom Project.
Yes, and if you want to watch this podcast, us talk about it live and record it live, you can do that. I think the deal at this point is Cinematic Relief is the third Friday of every month at 5 EST, which is the normal time we stream. So
and be sure to check out the special episodes on Patreon.
Yes.
Of
yes.
Cinematic Relief.
Yes. The I'll probably leave that part in at the beginning. But yes, just a reminder, there is a special episode of this podcast on Patreon where we watch the Super Mario Brothers movie.
And there'll be a new one every couple months. We'll let you know.
Yes. We already have a couple movies planned for that. And until next time, I've been Thunder.
I'm Lightning.
And we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe.
Our channel has daily uploads from podcast video essays, Let's Plays to skits.
Be sure to watch on Twitch. We stream all our video game and podcast content live at 5 EST every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday.
Our intro is by Brad Kendrick and music by Froggy and the Friendship. Link to all that in the description below.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.